OK, let's wrangle. We've got late debate co-host Liz Storer here in the studio, and as ever, we've got columnist and commentator Justin Smith in Melbourne. I'm the green maggot in the middle. I'm going to toss up the ball, the nuclear debate, and you guys can open up the game. What do you reckon, Justin? Are you all in on nukes?
Well, I'm not afraid of the debate. Actually, I'm kind of, I'm glad to see that we're starting to get a little bit of detail. We didn't get quite the detail that we thought we'd get. I mean, Peter Dutton called that press conference, and it went as long as a German opera, and yet he still wasn't able to tell us a dollar figure on this thing, which I've got to say is astounding. And he came up with that pathetic excuse and said, well, look, we wanted to put the locations out because that's what people were asking us about. That doesn't kind of sound like leadership to me.
All right,
he should have had a dollar figure behind it. But I'm glad to see him embracing socialism by saying that Australia's going to pay for it.
Just on that, before I hand over to Liz, just on that, and I think costings are important, could you tell me what figure the Labor Party have put on their transition to renewables?
Yeah, but I'm not a spokesperson for the Labor Party, and I'm not saying that their plan is the better plan.
But I'm just asking you if you know what that figure is. If you criticise one side for no costings figure.
Yeah, I don't.
My point is they're doing this to us, and they haven't ever costed it. They've never costed it.
Although that we know Labor's plan for their green dream is costing $1.2 to $1.5 trillion. Now, the CSIRO costs the average nuclear plant at $8 billion each. So let's run with that. Let's say that's
less than 1/10 of the cost.
That's a jolly bargain. Dutz is talking about putting 7 of these up in Australia. So 7 times 8, Justin, what do we got? That is a bargain compared to 1.2 or 1.5 trillion dollars. And the massive difference is one of them is capable.
Why did Peter Dutton not talk about it during that enormous press conference? If it is a bargain, if the figures look good, surely he'd be out in front of. He's got every camera on him. He's got every commentator talking about it. He's got every newspaper writing about it. Why would he not put the figures out?
Because he's simply being careful here. He doesn't want to do what Labor has done plenty of times in the past, costed something, and by the time it gets off the ground, it turns out to be an absolute joke. We saw that with Snowy Hydro. Obviously, that's not on Labor, but we're now looking at this $12 billion lemon, which is utterly useless, which is yet to give us, try 20 now.
I noticed the way that you put the emphasis on the word billion when you talk about somebody else. You hit the billion word really hard when you're talking about somebody else's costings. It's not for me to talk about that.
That's his legacy.
I'm not here to talk about Labor Party policy. But Chris, you asked me about what Labor's costings are. Let me ask you this question. Why did Darren Littleproud before not talk about money at all during that interview? And why was he not asked about money at all during that interview? Surely that's going to be one of the most important parts of this.
David Littleproud's his name. I didn't ask him about costings. I asked an expert earlier about costings. And my point about this, we're going to see costings. And my point about this, though, is that we know what the renewables are costing. That is hundreds of billions of dollars, and it's made electricity more expensive and less reliable. So we've got to see what nuclear costs. But we know it's going to be a fraction of renewables. And the other thing we know is it'll work. It'll be there when we need it. That's a big difference.
Yeah, we're getting value for money when it comes to nuclear.
Let's have that debate.
Absolutely.
I don't even think it's a debate.
I'm happy to have that debate. I'm happy to see Labor answer all those questions. You can just look at the 57 countries across the world who use nuclear and get massive value for money. Say billion again.
Literally, massive value for money, because when we talk about expenditure on nuclear, we are talking about baseload power, something renewables are incapable of. We are talking about power plants. The oldest one in the US is 55 years old and still kicking along like it was born yesterday, whereas we know that these wind turbines, they have to be retired every 20 years. Where are they going to go? Where are they going to go?
Listen,
renewable power doesn't live forever. We're doing this massive grid layout because they don't have access to the grid, building these plants on top of the coal-fired power stations. You're right on top of the grid already. Problem solve it.
Oh, look, I'm very happy to see this debate happen. I'm very happy to see it happen. But watching Peter Dutton's performance today, then the chances of this happening, I tell you what, if he gets this plan up the way he thinks he's going to get this plan up, I'll fill my bum full of plutonium, because it's not going to happen the way he thinks at the moment.
Okay, we're going to keep that.
I'm going to keep that.
We're going to keep that.
I'm going to try and I'm going to go to the next
That's
issue while I'm contemplating the half-life of your bum crap. Let's go to anti-Semitism, which is a very heavy topic on the back of all that. Although it's been turned into a bit of a laugh because the latest pro-Palestinian nitwit to turn up at one of Jerry Seinfeld's Australian shows has been hit out of the park yet again. Have a look.
You're getting them on your side. Can you hear it?
Boo! There's the police.
You have strong political feelings, but you don't know where to say them. You think that ruining the night, it doesn't affect me. All these people, you're ruining their night.
Yes!
This is all set up by me. This is a friend of mine. I'm going to introduce him. His name is Jaime Goldstein. It was all set up. Thank you for coming. Did you like the horse pit before you left? Did you get a little laugh anyway?
He's fodder for Seinfeld, Jaime Goldstein. Just brilliant.
He's had to put up with quite a bit of this. This is the second instance in Sydney. He put up with it in Virginia. He was doing a show there. Then, of course, there was the infamous case of Duke University where he returned to accept, I believe it was a doctorate, gave a speech, and the pro-Palestinian protesters staged this massive walkout. He's now got it down to a fine art dealing with these hecklers and making them into the joke that they are.
It is lovely to see them dealt with in such a humorous way, isn't it, Justin?
Yeah, I would hope that he's got, you know, what is he, 70 years old now? He would have put up with a few hecklers in his time. I'm sure he can handle them with particular aplomb. He's 70 years old. I'm sure of it. Yeah,
that's mind-blowing.
He's doing well. I'm worried about it escalating, though. I'm worried about, you know what protesters are like sometimes. They try to sort of outdo it, and we've got him coming to Melbourne very soon. So I just hope they keep their heads about them and keep it respectful.
Speaking of age, I want to go to the senility of the leader of the free world, Joe Biden. We talk about that a lot. We've shown you lots of examples, but it is staggering to see what his press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, actually said about this overnight. She's basically accusing the media of making it all up. Have a look.
It tells you everything that we need to know about how desperate Republicans are here. Instead of talking about the president's performance in office, and what I mean by that is his legislative wins, what he's been able to do for the American people across the country, we're seeing these deep fakes, these manipulated videos.
Deep fakes. Now, Justin, you can tell us what looks fake about some of the real pictures. We're going to run over the top of you talking.
Well, you got to give them their due. That to be the press secretary at the moment, probably in the last couple of White Houses, is a pretty bloody hard sell. So I think you've got to grab hold of anything you can.
No, you can't tell lies, Justin. You can't tell people that this stuff is fake. It's not fake.
No, you
it's
can't.
Just
I
reality.
agree. Look, the guy's not well, and the Democrats should tell him that he's not well and that they don't want him running next time. Someone's got to talk him out of it. Someone's got to talk Trump out of it. And I don't think they're going to have much luck.
No, they love it because he's not running the country. They get to. So they're absolutely loving this. Of course, they want him to run again. But the hide and the cheek of her to make out that these are all deep fakes. What about all the videos of him sniffing children and saying weird, creepy things? I mean, there is not enough deep fake videos in the world to excuse not only all the bumbles and the stumbles and literally him short-circuiting mid-speech. He just almost gives up on his own train of thought. And that's when he's reading. He's reading off a teleprompter.
It's a difficult job. We all know that, what she does. But I think she's just exposed herself as a deep fake. She's actually telling lies now to cover up for the president.
Yeah. That's how, and goes to show how desperate they are, which is her accusation that she's levelling at the Republicans.